Pendant près de 5 siècles, la joute équestre a été l'un des symboles de la chevalerie, pour finir par tomber en désuétude après la Renaissance. Bien loin des images d'Épinal, après plus de 14 ans de travail, de passion et de tournois à travers la France et l'Europe, Arnaud Léon et les membres de son association Chevalerie Initiatique ont réussi à faire naître une nouvelle discipline équestre issue de ce sport ancestral. Soutenus par le comité équestre régional de Normandie, les efforts de ces nouveaux chevaliers viennent d'être récompensés avec l'agrément de leur discipline par la Fédération française d'équitation et l'attribution du trophée de l'innovation pédagogique en 2006.
Un escrimeur moderne aujourd'hui c'est un sportif de haut niveau, pourtant il a une épée dans les mains. Bon, mais nous on est des escrimeurs à la lance.
L'adversaire d'Arnaud, Andreas Wenzel, est le seul Allemand au sein du groupe anglais.
At the moment, jousting in Britain is very much a display thing. Okay, it's more about hitting hard rather than actually scoring high. It's a little bit of an odd mixture. I think, however, there's more and more attempts having been made in the past by bodies like English Heritage, for example, to run a proper jousting league, with the same jousters competing again and again, people following them and scores being kept in a league board. And that might well happen in the quite immediate future, actually. Destria are planning to do something like that next year, I believe. I think what is happening in France now with chevalerie initiatique is absolutely amazing. It's a huge opportunity for France as a country to discover its own history, and for French horsemen to discover a new aspect to their sport. It is, at the end of the day, a sport which has to be carried out exactly like it was 500 years ago. It's the same armor, it's real steel, it's real horses, it's real lances, real wood, real people, and if you're really unlucky, real blood. So there's everything in there, and I'm sure chevalerie initiatique will go a long way to that end. It's a great thing to happen. We started maybe when I was 8 years old. There was a troop of traveling stuntmen coming to my town in Germany, and my father took me there and I saw their jousting show, and that was absolutely fascinating. And then I saw a lot of Errol Flynn films, like Ivanhoe the Black Knight and all these kind of things, you know, black and white films. That really fascinated me as well. It took years though until I actually finally started to do it myself.
Sous le haume de cette magnifique armure de chevalier noir, on trouve le professeur Tobias Capwell. Jouteur depuis l'âge de 18 ans, cet Américain est aussi conservateur à la Wallace Collection, le célèbre musée londonien.
All you must be thinking about is hitting your opponent as hard and as accurately as possible. And the joust always comes down to that single moment. There's a beautiful snapshot of a moment when your opponent is floating there in front of you. And it seems like everything stops and there's no sound and there's no time. There's just you and the other rider. And it's a beautifully focused moment. You know, in the rest of our lives, we always have many thoughts going through our heads all of the time. What am I going to eat tonight? What is my wife doing? Oh, I hate my job. Whatever it is. But in jousting, it's just pure energy. There's no thought. There's no worry. There's just your opponent and the lance and the horse, and it's a beautiful thing.
Let's hear your support with Kiwi supporting.
Jousting was the greatest sport in the world for 500 years. And that's an extraordinary history. And it's an incredibly exciting sport, but it's been lost for very complex reasons, and we need to reintroduce it. And I had not met Arnaud before this tournament, and he's an amazing rider, and I'm really pleased that he's trying to get jousting moving in France, and I hope we can come over and joust in France sometime. I've always wanted to.
To the victor by one single point, Dr. Tobias Capwell.
Jousting, if you think of it as a martial art, as a fighting art, it's the only one where there is no defense. You don't move, you don't parry or block, you just allow yourself to be hit, and you hit back.
Je suis très fatigué.
It's often very difficult to take our medieval heritage seriously. It's often thought of as being a kind of cartoon, with castles and princesses, and it's often not thought of as proper history. But it is proper history. It's a very, very important part of our history. And I can see jousting growing as a sport. But like any sport, it's important for the audience to know it and to understand it and respect it and know the rules. And we have to be doing much more jousting so that many more people are aware of it and are into it. And it's also all about the cult of personality, like any sport. The jousting public has to know us, and they have to know our personalities and our skills and our weaknesses. That's what makes the sport interesting.
Hello.